All right, so I want to talk about my sponsor, Live to Fight Design. Now, this is a company run by Sean Clements. You can find him on Instagram at Live to Fight Design, which you can see kind of right here. And they make banners for fighters and for gyms. And I have a promo code, which is my name, Todd Atkins. And if you use my name, you get 20% off your order. And I'm happy to have a sponsor that is involved with the fight game. I see a lot of sponsors on podcasts and whatnot that aren't really have anything to do with fighting. And that's not really what I wanted to have. So I'm real appreciative that he reached out to me and that he's been willing to work with me on my shows. So I really want you guys to, if you're interested in fight banners, or if you're a gym that needs a banner, he's done a lot of work with a lot of various fighters, and especially in some of the smaller shows because the UFC doesn't allow banners still. But yeah, a lot of those fighters that you see in the UFC now did work with him, Sean Clemens. So highly encourage you to check it out. At Live to Fight Design is where you can really contact him the most if you're interested in checking out his work or ordering something from him. And again, if you use my promo code, which is the Todd Atkins, TODDATKINS, you can get 20% off your order. And I hope you enjoy this next episode. Check it out. All right, so I'm here with Demarcus Corley. This is Todd Atkins. And Demarcus, I want to thank you a lot for taking time to do this. Now, I kind of wanted to talk about some current events first. Obviously, we had this big fight with Tank and Ryan Garcia. I talked to one of my friends about it last night, but I kind of want to get your perspective, maybe like first of the overall, like the lead up, the fight, and then some of just the overall impressions of it as it happened.
The lead up for the fight was great. I mean, they built the fight, they sold the fight, a lot of trash talking, and the fight turned out actually the way everybody expected it. A great, exciting fight until it was over.
Right. I mean, but you were in Vegas, so you probably got like the feel of all of this. I mean, those of us that are just watching on TV and whatnot, kind of tell me what
Mhm.
the vibe was like.
I didn't go to the fight. The tickets were too high. I ordered it, but the crowd they were very packed in Vegas. They all came out for Ryan. A lot of people came for Ryan, and a lot of people came out for DC from the DMV for Tank. It was exciting. I went to the little press conference. I seen how that was. It was very packed and exciting.
Yeah, has Vegas had that feel for a boxing match recently that you can remember, or do you think like it kind of feels like boxing's having a little bit of a resurgence, a little bit as far as we're going to get more big fights here soon.
I hope we get more big fights here. I mean, the fight that everybody wanted to see that was Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence, but that fight has done its course now, just like the Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight. Everybody wanted to see it years ago, and then when it finally happened, it wasn't that exciting. Everybody want to see what Ryan with Lomachenko and Devin Haney going to do. That's going to be a great fight next month.
Right, but I want to ask you, like, it feels like this was a little bit different as far as the fights go, like the build up, and then obviously it sold a lot on pay-per-view. It was
Yeah,
packed, as you said, at
amazing.
the arena. Why do you think this was different? What do you think was different as far as did they have enough months to promote it? Is that what it was?
You had two mega fighters. Tank is a mega star because what he does in the ring when it comes to him fighting, he puts you out. He doesn't go the distance. I think he only been the distance twice in his career, 28 knockouts. Ryan got great punching power and speed. He knock a lot of guys down and finish them, make them quit with the 8 count or 10 count from the referee. Um, Ryan got over 1 million social media followers. Tank have over 1 million followers on social media, so that's what really sold the fight. Their followers really wanted to see this fight because they both was talking a lot of stuff.
Now let's kind of get to the fight. The first round they kind of felt each other out, and then the fight started from there in the second. So kind of take me to what you thought of the fight, maybe what Garcia did and what Tank did.
um, it was exciting. I mean, from the first round, they were filling each other out, and then Ryan landed a shot, and he tried to step on the gas and open up, but you can't do that with an explosive fighter like Tank. That's just like somebody putting pressure on Mike Tyson, and then he opened up and catch you with something, and that's what Tank did. He opened up and caught Ryan with a body shot and knocked him down. The shot, I think it went all the way up to his chin, like an uppercut, and it knocked him down. But he got up from that, and he knew that Tank could punch it in, so he was very cautious about applying the pressure again. But eventually, Tank got him again with a body shot.
Why do you think he decided to apply so much pressure in round two like that?
Wrong game plan he came out there with. He was trying to bully Tank and show that he was the bigger person, which he is taller, longer. But Tank is small, compact with more power. And he was just applying pressure when he should have just tried to box Tank and win rounds. That was the game plan, I would have said. Go out there and box and win rounds.
So you think he should have just kind of stayed at a distance and used that?
100% stayed at a distance. Try not to let Tank bang on his arms and hit him with no clean body shots because you see what happened when he got hit in the seventh round with the body shot.
Now, I kind of wondered, like Goosen, do you think he was the right guy to train him for the fight, or?
I'm not gonna say Goosen wasn't the right guy to train him. It was just the wrong game plan that they had for that fight. If you know you're 5'10", you fighting a guy 5'5.5" or 5'6" with a short reach, you don't get in close and get in the shootout. You got long arms. His reach is a 71-inch reach. Tank reach is like a 66. Why didn't they go ahead and start boxing him, keep him at distance?
Yeah, and then, you know, I wanted to ask you, like, in the aftermath, obviously we saw Tank kind of, he ended up stopping Ryan. But in the aftermath, we had some wild stuff where, like they were talking about Hopkins and De La Hoya not showing up to the press conference, and there was some controversy around. What did you think of all that?
Hmm. I seen it as the fight was going on. I felt they should have been there, but Oscar said he had some death threats. Bernard Hopkins, they say he had some death threats also. They say he had some testosterone cream on his hands that he was trying to rub on Tank at the weigh-in. So he was banned from the fight, period. PBC banned him. I don't know how true that was. But if he was banned, then that's one reason why Bernard Hopkins wouldn't have been at the post-fight press conference.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I mean, if that's true, they let the fight go on, as far as the fighter they represent.
Yeah,
It
they
just
had
seems kind of
the other
weird.
guy from Golden Boy was there. Eric Gomez, he was there.
Hmm. Do you think that was just kind of like you think it was legitimate what they were saying?
I really don't care. I don't know.
Okay.
I was happy the fight happened, and it was a great fight. If it didn't happen, his team should have been there. His promoter should have been there on the stage with him. He shouldn't have been left alone.
I also want to ask you about the whole mole in the camp thing. Do you think that was just mind games, or do you think there was some truth to that? Or
Mm, I think it was all mind games. We tried to get in camp with Ryan for this fight, and Ryan himself told me in July last year we were in California, And he said, Chop, I'm gonna bring you out for the fight. I want you to help me get ready for this Tank fight. I said, okay. But when I talked to Joe Goosen, Joe said, nah, we already got some guys in the camp. I was like, okay, we're not gonna use you, Chop. We're not gonna bring you out. So I started to tell him, look, you're gonna need someone with the experience and the punching power that Tank's gonna bring to the table. But I just went on and said, okay, no problem.
Do you know who they were preparing with?
No, I don't
Now,
know which southpaws he used.
now, how often do you still come out for people's camps? Have you done that in a while, or was it the first time?
Yeah,
Or
no, I've been in camp with Mayweather 3 times for the Pacquiao. Every time Floyd fought a southpaw, I was in camp. I was in camp with Andre Berto, Devin Haney recently. With Devin Haney, I was in camp with Lomachenko when he fought Gary Russell. I was in camp with Danny Garcia when he fought Zab Judah. A lot of people don't want to bring me into camp because you're not going to whoop my ass in camp. I'm coming in camp. I'm gonna be in shape and I'm gonna give you the best work you can have. I'm not no punching bag. I'm a former world champion and I'm gonna come to help you get better. And Floyd, he's seen that himself. That's why he used me every time he fought a southpaw.
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you fought Floyd, but you have a good relationship with him.
We're pretty cool.
Now, let me ask you this, because you just mentioned Haney and Lomachenko. You've been in camp for both of those. I don't know how much you want to, put
I was
yourself
in,
out.
oh, I'm cool. And I was in
Okay.
Jojo. I helped Jojo Diaz get ready for the Tevin Farmer fight.
But what I wanted to ask you is, like, most people want to say who they think's going to win a fight. Maybe you could talk about or educate people on how you think Lomachenko could win and how Haney could win.
And Devin can win if he box him. Don't let Lomachenko do the lateral movement with the matrix and do all them twists and turns that he does on angles. Lama likes to fight off the angles. He has great foot movement like a ballet dancer, and he likes to fight off angles. But if you stop him from fighting off the angles and just go straight at him, he can stop him from doing what he want to do. But Devin also has a downfall. He doesn't possess a lot of punching power. Lomachenko can punch. I sparred him. I've been there with both of them.
Now, Lomachenko, maybe he didn't look like he was on top of his game in his last fight. Do you think he's going to rise to the occasion for this one? Be more like what we've seen?
Well, he's getting older now, so he had no other choice but to rise to the occasion or listen to the critics say, "Oh, you old, you should retire."
But what do you think? You've been in there with them, both of them. Do you think we're going to see more like him at his best, even if Haney beats him? Do we think you're going to see him more on his game this time?
You're going to see him more in his game, but I think Devin got enough to win the fight. He can really steal rounds with his hand speed, and his reflexes are very good. It's
Now,
just
I'm sorry.
we don't know if Devin can take. We just don't know if Devin can take one of them shots, though.
Now, this one doesn't, I mean, it's big, but it doesn't feel as big as Tank and Garcia. Do you agree with me?
100%.
Yeah. But I do think it's likely, maybe anyway, that the winner of this fight would be the next one that they would want Tank to fight, don't you think?
Their fight not gonna happen this year. Whoever wins, they're not gonna fight Tank this year because first of all, both of them was with
Right.
Devin is with his own, Lomachenko is with Bob Earn, so that ain't gonna happen. Tank has his own promotion with PBC. They're gonna have to come to some agreement sometime next year, make sure the money is right, and then do good numbers again. Whoever Tank fight, they're gonna do some numbers.
Right.
I don't think it's going to do more than what him and Ryan just did.
Do you think there's someone out there that he would still fight this year?
Tank?
Yeah.
No, because he's getting ready to. He has this court situation he got to
Right.
take care of next month.
Right.
So he's going to do a sit down and finish this year out.
You think it's going to go rough for him in this court situation or no?
I'm not going to say it's going to go rough for him, but he already has a date that he's supposed to be sentenced to. So
Right.
he's just waiting to go back to court so they can say you're sentenced to such and such time. You turn yourself in on Friday.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Do you think you don't think it would be a long time if he does go in?
Um, them counts, they say 7 counts. I mean, it's up to the judge and how they want to play it. They may say we're gonna give you a year. That's a long time though
Right.
to stay in for a year. But they say a year, but you may do only 7 to 8 months.
Right. Still a long time for someone like him, when you have a career
Yeah,
going.
yeah, and eating bad food, not being able to have a person prepare your food for you, and then you in there, you just eating, and you're going to be working out eventually, but it ain't the workout that you normally used to when you're not in.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, since we've kind of maybe written off Davis for this year, let's say winner of Haney Lomachenko maybe could fight Shakur.
Yeah, that's possible because Shakur is with Bob Iron
Right.
and Lomachenko is with Bob Iron and Tiafimo is with Bob Iron also. If one of them decide to go to 140, I think this is gonna be Devin's last fight at 135. Anyway,
But if Lomachenko wins, maybe it's more realistic that we see Shakur fight him.
yeah, before everybody want to see Tank and Shakur, but that's not going to happen until next year also.
Yeah. Now I want to ask you a little bit about what you're doing currently, because I know you do train people and you do
Yep.
some of your chop kitchen stuff. Maybe talk about who you're training and
I'm working with a young fighter named Shakai. He trains with Floyd a lot. When Floyd went to Dubai, he was one of Floyd's sparring partners. He's getting ready to have his pro debut. Me and my partner Chris Catalan, we work with him together. We spar today, me and Shakai. Great sparring partner. He's 135 pounder. I'm 140 pounds. And we had a young lady named Gina who was getting ready to do her first amateur fight sometime this summer.
she's in Venezuela, right? Or somewhere like that.
You talk about Flo,
Yeah.
the Norway young lady. Well, she left us. She's not with us no more.
Oh,
Yeah,
where'd she
she's in
go?
that. She's doing the combat league, but she's working with another trainer now.
Hmm. Now, maybe talk about the chop kitchen thing. Like, why did you come up with that?
I love to eat. I got the name Chop Chop from eating. At 10 years old, I was weighing 65 pounds when I first started boxing. And we went to Tennessee for the Nationals, the Silver Glove Nationals. And I supposed to be fighting at 65 pounds. I got on the scale that night and I was right on weight, 65 flat. But we were hungry because we did a drive down there and we all wanted to go out and eat. So they took us out to, I think it was Burger King where they had the salad bar. So my coach said, we're going to make sure you eat light, okay? You're just going to have a salad. You can't watch 12 kids and there's only 3 coaches. Y'all sitting over there and we're going to sit where we sit at. I was a little boy. I had a salad, a burger, a french fries. I was eating everybody else's food, including mine. And I had a Sunday, a Coke soda. I went from 65 pounds to 75 pounds overnight. My trainer said, "What you do last night? I told you to eat light. You must have ate out of sight." He said, "I'm gonna call you Chop Chop from now on. Now you got to move up in weight." So I moved up to 75 pounds. I made it to the nationals championship. I lost to Danny Ramirez, and ever since then, Chop Chop been the name.
And so it's just something you do for fun a little bit with the kitchen stuff, just kind
Oh, it's not fun. No, I'm cooking. It ain't for fun. Eventually, I'm working on we're gonna come out with a Chop Chop cookware, my own pots and pans, and I got my aprons, my hats already being developed. Yeah, it's serious. I got my own season. I make my own season.
when are we going to see it in the stores?
Hopefully by the end of this year, once I get with an a partner and investor, so we can brand it and get it out there.
Yeah, I think Chop Chop, like that's perfect for all kind of food line type cookware seasonings. Your
Yeah,
nickname could go, you know, you could do pretty
like
much anything.
George Foreman's grill did.
Yeah, but even more stuff because you can apply that name to pretty much anything that's in the kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's wild. Now I want to pick your brain about bare knuckle. I told you offline we were going to
go
talk
ahead.
about this. So I trained with Chris Liebman. He fought in bare knuckle. And he told me it was a little bit of a challenge for him. Now he's from MMA, so it's probably different than you. But he was telling me he felt like the distance between having like even an MMA glove on and no glove was really difficult for him.
I can imagine no glove in the MMA glove because I went from boxing gloves to no glove, but it's a different mindset when you're going to do bare knuckle. And when I decided to do it, I wasn't worried. I didn't care because at the end of the day, when I was growing up as a kid, we fought outside with bare knuckles. It was just a fight, a street fight. So I didn't mind getting hit then. I ain't gonna mind it now. I just like to fight.
Right, but what I mean is when you were preparing like to spar or whatever, let's talk about that. What did you do?
I sparred with guys who were into MMA, mixed martial arts, where they was grappling me, holding me behind the head, trying to hit me and stuff. So I didn't spar with the regular boxing guys in the gym when I was getting ready for my bare knuckle fight. I sparred with a couple of guys who was doing MMA.
Did you wear like MMA glove or boxing gloves?
No, no. I had on regular boxing gloves, but we had told them when we get in the clutch and the clinch up, they were told to grab me and like try to put me in the headlock and hit me with their free hand and uppercuts and stuff.
And when you got in the ring, was the adjustment from having the glove on to not difficult or no?
No, it didn't. It felt good to me.
So I mean, like you adjusted to the distance quickly, is what I mean.
I was ready to fight. I went right at them. I wasn't worried about the boxing. Is like chess. You got to keep your distance and you got to make moves to get in close. Bare knuckle fighting is just you go
Mm.
because that's what it is. It ain't about you're trying to move around the ring and feel each other out. It's called bare knuckle fighting. Let's fight.
Yeah, I mean that is a good point. It's kind of they start you off in the middle of the ring pretty much, and
Yeah, they toe
you're
the
right.
line and then they say knuckle up.
Right. So it's just a different mentality. You didn't want to go in there with the boxing strategy, so to speak.
Nah, not at all.
Hmm.
I could have used my boxing skills. I was winning the fight with Reggie Barnett until he slammed me and then knocked the wind out me. And I have asthma. A lot of people don't know. I tried to continue after that round, but I couldn't breathe the next round. So they were like, "You winning the fight?" I was like, "Man, I don't care if I'm winning. I can't breathe. I'm having an asthma attack. Stop the fight." And the fight was over in the fifth round.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. There's a couple of other guys that have done it. You know, Paulie. I don't know if you saw Paulie fight in it or not.
Yeah.
What did you think
He
of
the one that
Paulie's
made me
fight?
want to do it. I thought it was a good fight, but Paulie was never that type of person that is going to go out there and exchange and go blow to blow with you because he's a pretty boy. He didn't want his face to get bruised up and banged up like that. From his boxing style over the years, Paulie was never that type of fighter that's like the brawl with you.
Now, Austin Trout. I want to ask you about this because we saw him kind of greasing up a bit, you know, on his neck and shoulders and all that. So what did you think of that?
A good skill tactic. Let the punches slide off when they hit him.
No, I mean on his back of his neck and his shoulders. That's what I mean. Like, do you think he
Yeah,
was trying to
because
avoid the clinch by doing it?
100%. Because when the guy grabbed him and tried to put him in the headlock and use the free arm, he's slippery. He can't get a grip on him.
Yeah. So you think they knew what they were doing?
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Because some people, I've seen people come to his defense and say, "Oh, that's perfectly normal." You don't think so?
That's a good tactic.
Now, let me ask you this. Having done it, let's say you did it all the time. Let's say you were in bare knuckle as a fighter. Would you change anything over time preparing or no?
Hmm.
Because people are still trying to
Yeah,
figure it out. That's why I'm asking you what
I
you
would
think.
change. I would change. I would change. I would get me a real, like a Muay Thai trainer to teach me how to do a lot of defense moves, like martial arts. I would get a martial arts trainer to show me how to parry shots and come back and hit a person like mixed martial arts, but I'm only using my hands. I'll fuck a nigga up.
Yeah. Because I think, guys, it's kind of got some of that early UFC vibe to it where guys are still trying to figure out what to do to prepare.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was preparing, I started strengthening my knuckles. I was punching this Chinese board and I would beat it every day till my knuckles were just bleeding. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna start getting calluses on my hands. And my hands are nice looking compared to me being a fighter. So if I'm about to be tearing the skin off in a bare knuckle fight, that ain't a good look.
So maybe you would have changed some stuff about how you prepared your hands, maybe.
I would strength. If you're going to do the bare knuckle, you're going to get the bruises and the scar tissue. It's going to come because your hand's going to get cut, and you hit a person in the mouth, you may have his tooth in your knuckle. You knock his tooth out.
Right. But I mean, when you're like hitting the bag or getting ready in the gym,
Yeah,
would you like Chris told me he duct taped his hands and hit the
yeah.
bag that way?
I put a little bit of gauze on my hands when I was hitting the bag, but eventually they started bleeding. Your knuckles started bleeding.
Hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting topic because it seems like it'd be something to prepare a long time for, to have a career for it. It'd be a difficult, you know, day-to-day thing to do.
Yeah, but any sport that's when you're taking contact upside the head, that's a dangerous sport. That's just like football. They getting hit with the helmets on. It's contact. And it ain't what you do during the training and preparing for the fight or the game. It's what you do outside of the football field, outside the gym, outside the ring, how you take care of your body. The drinking, this alcohol, that stuff is not good. That messes up your body slowly.
Now, let me ask you about this. I mean, for people watching this, I already told him before we started that I'm sure he's talked about his boxing career forever. But maybe talk about some of the fights. You fought a lot of great fighters. You've had a ton of fights. Maybe
87.
right. So, you know, you're training people. What kind of stuff did you take away from your career that you've kind of instilled into some of your fighters?
First thing is the basics, the fundamentals of boxing, your proper stance, the way you're supposed to hold your guards. Everybody want to fight like Mayweather or the Philadelphia Shell. They want to fight with their hand down, the other hand up. And I took the basics. And when I'm training a fighter, a kid, you need to learn the basics first before you learn how to shift your hands and put it sideways and think you're going to do the Mayweather. No, your hands are used to block punches and throw punches. But a lot of fighters don't understand that you can use your hands to block a punch. You can parry a punch. You can shift the punch out the way. And if you got your arm in the wrong place, that's going to be hard to do.
Now, let me ask you, as I said, some of the guys you fought, Floyd, Miguel Cotto, Matisse, all these other guys. Maybe talk about, I mean, everyone knows Floyd. Maybe talk about what you think, why he's been as successful as he has been.
He's a workhorse. And he told me this after we fought each other. He said, Chop, when you sleeping, I'm working. I didn't understand that. So I asked him the next day, I said, what do you mean about that, Floyd? He said, when you sleep, I'm working. You're 3 hours ahead of me. I'm 3 hours behind you. 3 o'clock in the morning, my time is 12 o'clock at night this time. He's just leaving the strip club. I'm in the bed asleep. So 1 o'clock in the morning is 4 o'clock my time. He's doing road work. I'm still asleep. He will run from the strip club damn near to his house in Summerlin, Las Vegas. That's like 7 miles damn near. Now you understand what I mean? When you sleeping, I'm working. Then he go home, sleep for a couple of hours. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he's back in the gym. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon where I'm at, already trained. He's still training.
Now, what about Cotto?
That fight was stopped prematurely, and that's a fight that I could never take back. The referee stopped that fight when he shouldn't have stopped the fight. I was up, I wasn't hurt. Cotto hit me with a good shot. I took a knee to avoid getting hurt, and the referee stopped the fight in the fifth round.
But I mean, why do you think he was a good fighter? What made him, successful? I would, you know.
Mm. At 140, he wasn't like that on 140 pounds. He didn't get like that till he went to 147. That's when he gotten better. But at 140, Zab Judah was winning until he hit Zab low.
Yeah.
He was getting exposed at 140 pounds. Guys was hitting him. He wasn't taking him shots like that at 140. When he got to 47, he started being able to put on more weight and be more rugged and thick, and he can land better shots. That's how he was getting his fighters out of there.
Now, what do you think about Zab? I know you fought him too.
Great fighter. He's a good friend of mine. He had the fastest 1-2 I ever seen hit a person with. He threw a 1-2 so quick, it came straight down the pipe. I couldn't even get out of the way of it. It was so fast.
Now, maybe talk about some other guys that we don't know about, maybe, or that aren't on the tip of people's minds, guys that you thought were really good that you competed against or maybe sparred with.
Oh, well, the first name I would say would be Marcos Madonna. I fought him in Argentina. He had just signed with Golden Boy, and we went 12 rounds for the WBA super lightweight title, and I beat him, but they didn't give me the decision. And then Ruslan Povovnikov, the Russian, I beat him over in Russia. I beat him bad, broke his nose, cut his eye up. Now, I even got a knockdown in that fight, and I still didn't get the decision. Um, Lucas Matisse, he was like a tsunami. He put it on my little ass. Lucas just was too big for me at 140 pounds. It wasn't my day that night.
Is there anybody that you watch now that maybe we don't, or the public's not really talking up? That do you watch a lot of boxing, like prospects, or no?
I watched the top 10 guys in my weight class, 140 and 135. I keep my eyes on them because I'm still fighting. And then I pay attention to the welterweights because the big names out there and in super junior middleweight, the Charlo brothers and Canelo, what they're doing.
Now, I wanted to pick your brain about one more thing before I let you go here, and that's,
Go
I
ahead.
mean, you live in Vegas. Francis
Hmm.
Ngannou, obviously, he's champion in the UFC. He's trying to cross over into boxing. What do you think? You think he's gonna get an offer? Is he gonna sign for something, or it
He
doesn't
may get
seem
an
like anything's
offer.
materializing yet? That's why I'm asking you.
What weight class does he fight at?
Well, he was the heavyweight champion.
Okay. Um, he's gonna have to make some noise in the heavyweight if he's gonna cross over. He's gonna have to really fight someone and show that he can be a threat as a heavyweight.
But I mean, he left the UFC. He's kind of been in limbo for a few months now. Would you like? Do you think he should fight a couple of developmental fights, or do you think he should try and get a big fight right away? Because that's what it seems like he's trying
No,
to do.
no, he needed to get some developed fights first. Get at least five straight good boxing matches, a 6 rounder here, an 8 rounder there, and get his body because we fight 3 minute rounds compared to what they do in MMA. I think they do what 2 minutes,
Five.
5 minute one round.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then their fight is over. But 3 minutes each round, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of endurance and cardio.
So you think, because the thing is, he was the champion in the UFC, not a contender. So
Hmm.
it appears that he's just trying to get maybe one big fight or two big fights and then maybe go back to MMA. Do you think that's possible?
If he had the right people backing him, yeah, it's possible because they're looking at the money that can be generated from him coming into boxing, to the sport of boxing, and making a name for himself. But he got to be matched up with the right person because if he lose, they're gonna say he shouldn't have never came over there anyway.
And you haven't heard anything. You're in Vegas where he is. You haven't heard anything, or
No,
there must not be much talk about him in the boxing circles then.
nah.
That's interesting. I mean, I thought there would be some of that, where maybe some guys are saying, okay, this guy's going to come over, but you aren't hearing that in the gyms at all.
No, not yet.
And what gyms you're training at
I go to
Mayweather's and
Mayweather gym. Yeah, I go there some days. I go to Bones Adams a lot. Um, Barry's boxing with the amateurs. I go down there a couple of days out of the week to play with the kids and watch them. El Capitillo, the Vargas brothers be over there sometimes. I've been over there a couple of times.
does Floyd still get in there and mix it up a lot?
No, not a lot. He's about to do an exhibition in
Okay.
June the 11th. He's doing an exhibition in Florida. So this one's not out the country. He's doing it with Gotti, somebody named Gotti the third,
Yeah, John
John
Gotti's
Gotti the third.
grandson.
Oh, okay. That's gonna make a lot of money.
John Gotti's grandson's an MMA fighter. I think he's 5-1. And yeah.
If he got 1 million followers, that's gonna make a lot of pay-per-view numbers.
Yeah, maybe I'll ask you about that. What do you think about all this kind of YouTube boxing stuff?
I think it's cool that the YouTube guys are trying to come over and box. I wish I can get a fight with one of them.
Yeah, maybe that's something possible, like Misfits or one of those
Yeah.
things in Britain.
The only thing is, I'm just a small guy, so they be like, man, I'm 160. He only 140 pounds. He too small. You're right. I am too small. I need somebody my size.
Yeah, they do have some.
Yeah, I like to take on one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is interesting. It does open an avenue up for guys that, you know, do want to compete in some other things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I get a lot of static because they say, "Stop, he's still dangerous." Y'all think he old? He ain't old. I'm always working out. I stay ready. I walk around 140, 142 pounds. If a phone call come, my medicals are up to date. I'm ready. I became world champion on a 5 day notice.
And you still want to do some bare knuckles too.
Oh yeah.
But you don't think like BKFC is going to bring you back or what?
David Feldman and them, they never called me back no more. When I reached out to them, they were like, Chop, nobody want to fight you. They don't want to take a risk to fight you. I was like, I lost. I got a loss now. Yeah, but you wasn't losing that fight. You were winning until he slammed you. Okay, so that should give somebody more encouragement. All I gotta do is rough him up. It ain't that easy with me.
Hmm. Maybe they don't want to pay you either.
That too.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking all this time to talk with me and, being able to pick your brain, especially about, the newer stuff, because I'm sure you've talked about boxing to death, but
I'm okay with it. I
yeah,
mean, I got into it because I love it. At 10 years old, I knew what I wanted out of life. And I wasn't going to let nothing stop me from becoming what I wanted to become. On top of being shot in my spine and in my left leg.
yeah. Maybe before I let you go, maybe if you had something you wanted to kind of end the interview on, maybe that you want is important for people to know or anything.
Believe in your dream. Don't give up on it. If you believe you can do it, put the work in to make it happen. I was just a little boy. I believed that I could become a world champion. At 10 years old, I stayed with it. I didn't make the Olympic team, but I stayed with it. I got 7 world titles, different ones in different weight classes. And I could have gave up when I got shot in 1997. I had a dream about a shooting, and then I tell them about it in the gym, and then it happened that evening. So it's like a premonition. I had a dream about it, then it come true. How scary is that? But I didn't let that stop me from becoming a world champion.
It was someone trying to rob you or what?
Over Eddie Balco. Yep. They waited for me to get inside my car, and they ran up on the car, said, "Give me your coat," and started shooting through the windshield. And God just covered me from getting hit in the face and stuff with the bullets. The glass was coming through the windows when they were shooting them out. I jumped out the car and started running. I had that big old coat on, and I got hit in my spine and in my left leg. I took the coat off and kept running.
Where was this? Vegas?
Washington, D.C. No, Washington, D.C.
Hmm.
I had just turned pro in 1996. It happened a year later, 97.
So they targeted you.
Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, but you still persevered, like you said, it can be done.
Yeah, I didn't. I was determined. I wanted to become a professional boxer and become a world champion. If they would have took the bullets and left them in me, I would have never been the same. That was my focus. Take the bullets out. If you leave the bullets in, I'm never gonna be the same. My career is over with.
Yeah. What was that feeling like? Like, when before you were
Getting
able to get them out, were you thinking, I'm not going to be able to do it again?
that's a feeling I'll never forget. Just visualizing it right now, running and getting shot, and then I feel it hit me in my spine, and then my left leg. But I kept running, and all I can think when I was in the ambulance and they was talking to me, I'm telling them I need to go to the hospital. Y'all got to take these bullets out because bullets travel, and
Oh, okay.
if you're not stabilized and you move, I could have been paralyzed. So they was
Oh,
talking to me, and I'm like, "Can we just go?" They're like, "Well, are you in pain?" I'm like, "No, I'm not hurting. I just want to go to the hospital to get these bullets out." They're like, "But you've been shot in your spine. We don't need you to move." I'm like, "Look, I didn't ran from up the street where I got shot at, and I'm okay. Just take me to the hospital." So I had to sign a waiver so they can do the surgery. And my manager was Sugar Ray Leonard at the time. I had just signed with Ray when I first turned pro. So I called him and had me to sign a waiver for them to do the surgery to remove the bullet out my spine and out my leg. And 4 months later, I was back in the ring fighting again.
when they took them out, like how long does it take to recover from something like that?
Everybody's body is different. I was back in the gym 10 days later after I got shot November 26th. The day before Thanksgiving, I got shot. 10 days later, I was back in the gym limping and hitting the bag. And they was like, Chop, you just got shot. You back in the gym? I was like, man, I'm getting ready. I'm going to fight. I had my next fight. It was in February 1989. I got shot at the end of 97.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, it kind of goes along with what you're saying. If you just kind of keep going, it'll happen. If you keep trying.
Determined not to give up.
So you don't necessarily have to be the most talented all the time.
No. But you got to be willing to put the work in. And that's what I was doing at a young age, just constantly practicing in the gym, going home practicing, in the gym, going home practicing. And I had a lot of other great fighters and friends who grew up with me who had better talent than me, better skills than me, but they chose the street life. I chose the boxing. And I persevered. I made it. They didn't.
Well, I mean, it's deep, man. I could talk to you forever about some of this stuff, but I appreciate you taking all this time to talk with me. But yeah, I mean, it's great to talk with you, and man, I'd love to like maybe pick your brain about some fights sometime or something if you'd like.
Sure, you got my number. We'll chop it up again.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking time to do this, and everyone watching this, Demarcus Corley, legendary boxer, and yeah, I just really appreciated talking to you. It's great meeting you.
Fight number 88 coming up soon. Get ready.
Yeah, we
All
gotta make it happen somewhere. Let's
right.
make it happen. All right.
All
Take
right.
care and have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Appreciate it, sir.